Hello and welcome back to the finish line and our Royal Ascot preview. So before we get into day one top, no, there might be a bit of laughing here. We're just off our WhatsApp group and there's absolutely no cases in it.
I just see it flashing up here in front of me. I'm going to have to turn my phone around.
Phone away, Tom. We've literally been here. It's what?
You're sitting there giggling. You're sitting there giggling.
We sat here for 20 minutes.
You're sitting there giggling for the last 20 minutes.
It's 8:15 now. We've been sitting here since 7:45.
We'll get this done and you can go back and giggle away yourself again then.
That's too funny.
So,
if anyone wants to join our WhatsApp group, like...
prepare yourselves.
Don't be easily offended, but it's some laugh.
Yeah, you need thick skin. In this day and age as well, I wouldn't be a snowflake going in there, to be honest.
It's fun though. And yeah, talking about WhatsApp group, we have a Royal Ascot tipping competition. Link will be in the description, and all the details you need to know will be in the description of the WhatsApp group. So there's going to be prizes for first, second, third. We have what? How many do you have so far, Tom?
Hang on. Yeah, there's prizes of first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. And we have 32 participants so far. So yeah, it's good going.
So everything you need to know will be in the description of this for the WhatsApp group, and then you'll find out details of how to enter and so on in that WhatsApp group. And as well as that, as if you watched the last video, Tom is starting up a Syndicate where he's having 2 horses. He's going to the sales next month.
Yeah, for the sale for the National Hunt horse is in July, and there's one in July and one in August. And the sale for the yearling that's hopefully going to be dual purpose will be there's one in September and one in October.
So tell you, if the my head's gone, lads, honestly. if the horse, the owning the horse ends up being half as much fun as that WhatsApp group, I tell you, I'm not going to be able to survive anymore. I nearly had to wet myself and everything. I was laughing so much.
It's been a good half hour.
Horses are horses. Like, we can't guarantee. We can do our best, but we can't guarantee they'll be good.
We can guarantee the crack, though.
I tell you, I pay the money for the crack at this stage.
You're going to have some time. I was talking to a few... Thanks to everyone who emailed me. I've had an absolute heap of emails, and it's been great going back to everyone. I only got to do it this evening after work, but... like a good few people from the UK as well, and as I said to them, like, if you get involved, you come over, one thing I can promise you is you're going to have a good time. Like, so we'll look after you very well, and we'll have a good time. So
we've been known to throw a good party or two.
Yeah, it's something really to look forward to, and thanks for all the interest. And like, if you're interested, give me a shout. I think we might go for it, will we? I was talking to my friend who I'm setting up with, Nat, and like, the horses, so the yearling that's going to be dual purpose is going to go to the best dual purpose trainer in the world, Joseph O'Brien.
Hey, you seeing it?
And the National Hunt Store horse is going to go to Henry de Bromhead, multiple Cheltenham Festival winning trainer. As we said, Honeysuckle cost $9,500 as a 3-year-old. Put the Kettle On cost $22,000 as a 3-year-old. So, you know, there's a chance, and you're going to like top 5 trainers in the country in flat and jumps, and cannot wait. It's going to be so good.
Look, if worst comes to worst, we'll have a cracker down Tremor.
That's it, yeah. 0-95 handicap round Tremor, that'll do.
If there's money to be won and made, then it's all the one, really, isn't it?
Exactly.
Right, on that, I'll have Tom's email in the description as well, so anyone wants to hit Tom up, you'll know where to find it. Right, so what we're here for. Royal Ascot starting next week, which is, it's going to be a strange one because there's going to be no crowd and so on and so forth. And I reckon there's going to be some mad results next week. So, with that said, we will start off with day 1. We're only going to do the grade 1s, by the way, because there's a lot. So,
there's a lot. It's hard to know what's running there.
So, where's my son looking in the middle?
Probably wants to be let in.
He probably does.
Will I let him in?
Let him.
Okay.
Hey, give him some sweets as well, Dave.
They're at the door. Right. While Dave's gone out to let my fella in, we start off at Queen Anne Stakes, and the betting as of now is Circus Maximus 3-1, Fox Champion 8s, Duke of Hazards 10, Headman 10 and 12 to 1. Bigger the rests. And he's back. Tom, do you want to take it?
I'll take it. Yeah. To be honest, I found this race a bit uninspiring. I'm not the biggest Circus Maximus fan in the world.
Because he wears blinkers.
It's uninspiring.
And a Grade 1 winner.
That's actually true. And he's an Aidan O'Brien horse.
Hey, all his stats gone out the window.
Oh, Tom, you got done. You've done.
I looked.
Yeah, do you know what to do? Just walk out. Just walk out.
I was looking at his form, and I knew you were going to come at me with that. I just saw it. Here we go.
In brackets.
He has
blinkers.
He has blinkers in brackets here in his notes.
Yeah. Look, I think he's the most likely winner of this, to be honest.
It's an uninspiring race every year. It's the worst Group 1 of Royal Ascot.
Yeah, I'm not buzzed for this at all. Fox chairman Circus Maximus beat him in the D Stakes at Chester last year before getting outstayed in the Derby. He won at Royal Ascot last year. You know, Aidan's horses, most of them that have been, you know, most of the top ones have been very forward. So I can't see why he's not going to be forward. The one I had down there was Roseman. Roger Varian's in good form. He's 12 to 1. Maybe take an each way punt on him, but Circus Maximus is probably the most likely winner, but it's not that inspiring of a race. I'm not going to be having a bet in it, to be honest.
I'm quite strong in Circus Maximus. His form is a lot stronger than the rest of them. Like, he's fourth in Breeder Cup Mile. He won the pre-Mulan at Longchamp. He won the St. James's Palace. Like, he's Ascot form. He's a bit of an nutcase. He hangs and runs all over the place under pressure. But if he keeps it together, he's by far the best horse in the race. And I think 3 to 1's a fair price for what he's done.
I think Aidan O'Brien getting this yoke to win 2 Grade 1s is the best training performance ever in the history of training. Because he is the most ungenuine and obnoxious flat horse you'll ever likely to see. You said he should go over jumps earlier. He probably should, to be honest. He's a big, lazy, stupid. Oh my god!
Sounds like a jumps horse.
And I backed him the two times he's won decent races, but I don't think he'll win this.
Like, just when you go through the betting, there's nothing.
There's nothing there, but I sent a horse to you earlier for the Diamond Jubilee, and one of the lads in the group said that he's definitely going to run in this, not the Diamond Jubilee.
Lancaster.
No. I like Lancaster House, the other Aidan O'Brien horse, but I'm going to back Mohatter either in the Diamond Jubilee if he goes there, or this if he goes to this. His form is all at 7 furlongs, but he travels really well, so it wouldn't surprise me if they dropped him back to 6 or give it another try over a mile. He was 5th in the QE2 at the end of last year. I'd say the ground probably was a little bit too soft for him. He travelled really, really well. If you go back and watch that race, he travelled behind King of Change, the winner, and he didn't really have the turn of foot, and I'd say it was the ground. And as Andrew always says, give one bad run to a horse and don't give up on him. Not that fifth, it was a decent Group 1. I think King of Change is a good horse, so he came 5th in the Grade 1, and he had been off for a while before that, so I'm happy enough with him.
Yeah, if anyone wants to bet back that, I'd say if it runs here, because like Circus Maximus, as I said, he's the most likely winner in my book, but I'm not part of any of my cash to back him. I'll tell you that much.
When I sent it to you earlier, I think he's a Grade 1 horse, and he's still a colt as a 4-year-old, so they're keeping him in training for a reason. A lot of the Hamdan Man McToom horses that aren't the best horses, they've no trouble gelding them and keeping them in training for 7-8 years as older horses. He's a colt as a 4-year-old. He won the Greenham last year at 7 furlongs. He bet a couple of decent horses in that. To me, he's a Grade 1 horse. They're trying to win a Grade 1 with him.
I give a little shout to Space Traveller as well. 16, he's quite a decent horse, and in an open race, well, I think, as we all probably think, Circus Maximus is a likely winner, but to fill a place, he's a decent horse in his own right. That was quick. Circus Maximus.
Mohatter each way if he runs.
Tom.
Roseman each way 12 to 1, but
how
you're cash in your pocket.
Right, on to probably one we spend the less time on. Kingston over 5 furlongs. Battash wins next.
I'm gonna take a punt, lads, on that. This Dennis Hogan horse is an aeroplane.
He has to find £10 at least.
We're all on different horses here.
I think Battash is miles better than a lot of these.
I'm going
on his day. Battash is right, and I know everyone says it. And he hasn't run bad at Ascot, but he's run at Ascot 3 times. He's beaten there every time. Blue Point has beaten him twice. Skeptical has to go a bit to improve. I'll admit that much. But Battash, I don't know if he wants a stiff 5 furlongs. I'm not convinced he does. I'm not convinced Ascot's for him. In saying that, he has got a good record fresh, so I think that's in his favour. But I'm not rushing to back him.
I love Battash. Craziest horse in training, or was until they gelded him.
Horniest. He's gelded.
Yeah, they gelded him 2 years. He was trying to ride everything, biting everything. Charlie.
Remind you of anyone.
Charlie, the stories Charlie Hills used to say about him when he was a 3-year-old before they gelded him. Like, he basically begged the sheik, can I geld him? Because I can win grade 1s with him, but he just is trying to bite and ride everything, and I can't stop him. But he doesn't run well at Ascot. Not that he's never won at Ascot. He doesn't produce his absolute.
The same could be said though last year when he never won at York.
Unbelievable form at Ascot, right? I love Battash because he's crazy. But the reason he's crazy is he's going to throw in a bad run or not win here and there. You cannot guarantee that he'll come out and be a 120 rated horse that Battash can beat, right? Skeptical needs another £12. I'd say
he's rated £10 inferior, so he needs to match that at least.
He needs £12. If Battash runs to what Battash can actually run to, Skeptical won't beat him. So I'm gonna have an each way bet on Oxted, that won the other day at Newmarket. Yep. Young Kieran Fallon was on him. I think it was the Palace House one, was it? I thought it was very impressive that day. She travelled really well and then kicked off at fast pace. I like a horse coming into this that's improving.
I'm surprised he didn't put up equal after.
No, he's a fucking dickhead.
That much different.
Sorry, he is.
I backed that at the Guineas meeting last year. I was there. Was it last year?
Yeah, I think it was. On the line.
And before we had it won, no, done with that horse. But Skeptical, like we'll talk about him there a little bit. He cost £2,800 out of Godolphin as a unraced 2-year-old. And he just looks a machine. Like I know you can argue he didn't beat too much in that listed race the other day, but there's a couple of horses that had run well in Group 1 races in there, and he just annihilated them. And he's got the pedigree to do it, so there's no reason why he might not find that £10. I've just looked at the prices.
Would it not worry that he only ran, was it yesterday? Or the day before?
2 days ago.
That
was a piece of work from him. That was literally a piece of work from him.
Look, Tom, he's had like 4 races. I just can't see it. Like, he wanted to be as good as what Soul Power was when he was winning it.
Now,
I just can't see it. Like,
in his defence, if he was trained by Aidan O'Brien, everyone would be ranting and raving about him. He's trained by Dennis Hogan. Dennis Hogan is well able to train horses.
If he cost 700 grand as a yearling, and which he probably would have cost, well, I don't know, maybe not that much, but I don't know how much he would have cost as a yearling. But say he cost 700 grand as a yearling and went to Aidan O'Brien's and only ran like as a 3-year-old and had done this, everyone would say he's the biggest stone cold certainty in the world.
But the thing that's kind of putting me off, he's never going to run this fast in his life. He's going to be taken off his feet straight away. Unless that's going to suit him, because he doesn't seem to go with the pace. He kind of sits off it and comes with a kick. Then
he is, Tom. He won't have ever gone as fast as he's going to go Tuesday. Some of those old English sprinters that turn up year in year out, like, they literally never win races, but they just go like American horses for 3 furlongs.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it's a total different ball game to the 5 furlong sprints in Ireland. The English 5 furlong sprinters are way faster at the start of the race, anyway.
That is true. That is very true. And like you see, when English sprinters come over to Ireland, they have a hell of a good record because our sprinters
extremely
just
good
are not.
record. Yeah, we to be fair, there's not a whole lot of big 5 furlong sprint races in Ireland anyway.
No, we breed as well. We breed distance horses. We do breed middle distance horses, and we don't breed many sprinters really. But I don't know. I'll just take a chance on him. But I'm just looking at the prices. Even money Battash 3-1, skeptical. Like, I don't want to back. I'll never back Battash because he'll always be a really short price. He'll always be a really short price, and he can bomb out. So I'll never back him. Would I back skeptical at 3-1? Probably not, to be honest. No. So it's a no bet race for me. I'd love to see him go and do it to rags to riches story. But yeah, it's a no bet race for me again. I've better bets coming up towards the end of the week, lads. Don't worry, I'm not going to sit here and sit on the fence all day now.
I was thinking you are supposed to get sore. I'm Battash all day.
Oxted each way.
Yeah, I'd take skeptical. Let's hope it happens.
Okay. Next we will go to the Prince of Wales Stakes. And the betting as it is Japan 11-10, Barney Rice 6s, Headman 8s, Magical 10s, Adib 12s, Lord North 12s and 16-1, bigger the rest. I think just Japan.
Oh, I tell you, if Magical runs in this, she's the best each way bet you'll get in a long time.
If she was running in this, she will not be 10-1.
She will 100. If she runs in it, and she was entered in a race tomorrow, she's not declared.
Oh really?
Yeah, she's not racing. She's not racing over the weekend. She's
drifting. She's definitely running this.
Unbelievable filly. I had a conversation with Andrew when I heard she was back in training, and they had retired her when she had that setback before going to the Breeders' Cup. I reckon she's clearly shown a lot to be put back racing as a 5-year-old. I reckon they want to give it another go and try and beat an Ava. If they think she's shown the right signs, I'd back her all day. And Japan's a really good horse. I like Japan too. But if Magical runs in this, her form even last year against Crystal Ocean on ground that wouldn't have suited her would be good enough to win it, I think.
Her form is up there with the best, but I highly doubt she's even going to be considered running this. She wouldn't be 10-1, and if she was run, the boys in Ballydoyle now would be lumping into her now at this stage. So I confidently take her out of it. But
yeah, I can't see that she'd be running, and Japan is this short. Yeah. Japan, like, there was a lot of confidence behind him last year, and I backed him for the Arc, as a few of the listeners might remember, at wild prices each way. When Ryan won at Royal Ascot on him and said, like, he's the best 3-year-old we've got.
Remember how poor he ran last year on his first run.
Yeah, but they're going to be ready this year.
He was abysmal in his first run last year. He came like 5th in the Dante.
I just think that we're seeing that they're training them differently, because they're not having there isn't any prep races. You're straight into the big boy races. And if there's anyone that can get them ready, like Ballydoyle have gallops that are shaped like Newmarket, Chester, Epsom, they've mad gallops up there to do anything on.
I 100% agree. It's just like some horses, for whatever reason, don't run well on their first run.
I'd say they have to give them a bit of work. That was they what's the word I'm looking for? Conjured up like a race for all the world. I'd say I've no doubt in my mind that he's going to be ready for this.
He's a great horse, but I'd be looking towards. I'd be thinking that Aidan is training him to try and win the Arc, and I'd be looking towards the later in the season for him.
Yeah, I think he'll win. I think he's very short though now.
Yeah, he is very short.
Like, I've no interest. Like, we're on about betting. Like, Royal Ascot is such a great week. It's really enjoyable to watch. And I think something, like, I was talking to a couple of lads as they were paying their tenner to join up to the group and stuff, and it's something like that is really enjoyable, because you pay your tenner, you got to pick a horse in every race, and you get points for coming in the first 4. So you've got an interest in every race, but you're not betting.
Yeah.
Like these races and some of those big handicaps, I've zero interest in having a bet in it.
Yeah.
Like this, I think Japan will win. Am I going to back him at like evens or odds on? No, I'm not. So if I've got a point system going on in a competition, you've got an interest in every race, and it's a bit of fun, and you don't need to be part of your cash.
Exactly.
If she gets declared and she's like 4-1, 5-1, will you back her each way?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Who?
Magical.
Oh yeah, she gets declared. It's just, I'm not saying she won't, because the price has put me off. She wouldn't be that big.
What price?
I wouldn't back her until she got declared, though.
What?
I wouldn't back her until she got declared. I wouldn't back her like now and take a chance.
Well, I'm getting this one at a bigger price. John Gos, I don't know how to say this. Say that one.
Which one?
That one.
Is it French?
No, it's bloody Arab or something. That. Medoya.
She won the Cheshire Oaks last year.
Yeah, she's 25, 30
Oh.
to 1.
Is she? Does she want a bit of soft ground, or does she not?
It's bucketing down over in England.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
So, I got a text 5 minutes before we started this. John Gossins on a Royal Ascot preview, and he gave Medoya as an each way bet for the week.
Well, there you go.
Well, that's interesting.
Well, there you go.
I'm while we're talking, my sister lives 10 minutes literally from Ascot Racecourse. I'm gonna text her now and ask her how the weather is.
It's like David Russell's the preview. Remember that?
There's no price for Ladbrokes. Ladbrokes are usually the ones that have that know if Aiden's horses are running or not.
Yeah. So, I think Japan is most likely winner, and what's the name again? Medoya at 25s.
Yeah, she's a good horse. I like her.
Yeah. You?
If Magical runs her each way, and to be honest, if it's soft ground, I wouldn't be surprised if that Medoya runs a decent race.
Yeah. I'd basically just agree with Dave there. I think Japan will win. I really like him, and some of those Ballydoyle horses, as they get older, they can really toughen up and improve. And I really think he's a great candidate to do that. But I'm not going to back him at evens or that kind of price. If Magical ran and she was against him in second favourite, I'd back her each way. Yeah, but I can't see that happening, to be honest.
Yeah, I think we're all in agreement there. So we will move on now to probably my favourite race of the week after the Ascot Gold Cup. We have Stradivarius Even Money, Kew Gardens 9-2, Anthony Van Dyke 5s, Technician 10s, Cross Counter 14s, Broom 14s, DXB 16s, and 20-1 bigger the rest. Stradivarius is to lose?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Now we're on about horses that need a run, and I said I'm going to contradict myself. This Kew Carden needs about 3 runs to get ready.
He's for later in the year.
He's a typical stayer. Like, even they had to get Stradivarius out for a run. He's a typical stayer that's going to need a run. And I wasn't like this until I seen the absolute drift, and that Aiden said he's going to need this for the season.
Yeah.
So I think, yes, definitely Stradivarius is to lose. Because if you look at Kew Carden, I just wrote it down. Kew Carden, his season reappearance every year, he's been beaten 6.5 lengths, 6.5 lengths, 8 lengths, and 2.25 lengths. That won't fill you with any confidence back in the first time out.
To me, it's Stradivarius is to lose, but I'm going to back Technician each way.
I really like Dermot Wells' Search for a Song at the 20s. I think she is way overpriced. She won the Irish St. Leger last year, beating Kew Gardens by 2.5 lengths. She's a big, or he's a big, or he or she, I can't remember.
She is, huh?
She, I think it's she, yeah. She's a big girl. I think she's going to train on a lot.
I'm gonna rain in your parade here now.
What?
She's favourite tomorrow.
Ah, no. Battner, tomorrow, so.
I wouldn't back her tomorrow. She's running in a 1 mile 2 race.
Who is she?
Yep.
Maybe she's just she's against Fleetman then. Patrol. Surely a prep run.
This is, as we said, look, Stradivarius is to lose, I think. I'm just looking at him. The only time he got beat last year by Kew Gardens in that race, and we said this last week, but the time before that he got beaten was in 2018. 2018, I think, in the
St. Leger?
in the British Champions Day Stayers race. So it was in the same race. It was 2018 and 2017. Could have been 2017 actually, but those are the 2 races he's got beaten. He'd had a long old season last year because they were chasing that £1 million bonus. So I'd forgive him getting beaten on British Champions Day. What was interesting on his comeback against Gaia was the fraction that race got analysed really closely with the sectional times because of the speed that Gaia went. But if you looked at Stradivarius, he made that mid-race move to try and catch up with him, and he sprinted for like 2 to 3 furlongs in the middle of that race to try and make up the gap, which is completely uneconomical. Like you can't really do that in the middle of a race and then see out a race. And he still stayed on at the end. So yeah, as long as that hasn't taken too much out of him, which it probably hasn't. I don't think Frankie was too hard on him. He should win this, really. I think the other horses, I looked down through them, like Cross Counter. The last time he won was when I'd had a bet at 25-1 on the Beck second. It's Bellini.
When he had here.
Yeah, like I can't have him. Technician, he's got to improve a little bit. Kew Gardens is obviously the one, and 9-2 is a little bit big with Bet365, but he's probably going to need to run, as you said. Like I'm sure he's going to be more forward than he normally is, but he's probably going to need to run.
He's surely going to be placed, isn't he?
Well, you would think so. But like, look, if you're doing muggy Akas or whatever, stick Stradivarius in there, you know.
No, I said Stradivarius is the most likely winner. I'd wonder how much the race took out of him. But you look through the race, like you said, Tom. Kew Gardens, his form, first time out, second time out, is not great. He gets better as the year goes on. Broome, I just don't even want to make of him anymore, to be honest. Cross Counter's a rag. Royal Line is a rag. Neaf Road won well the other day, but no. Sir Dragonite, don't know what to make of him anymore. Sir Ron Priestley is probably a grade 3 horse. To me, Technician, he's won a grade 1 over in France, the Prix Royal Oak. The horse he bet that day has come out, won twice since. He won in that big meeting with loads of money in Saudi Arabia, was it Riyadh?
Yeah.
And then he won again. He travelled really well that day as well. Martin Mead's an alright trainer. He's kind of up and coming. He has to improve. Tom, you said a little bit. I think he has to improve a lot. But he looks like the triple suit him. So I think he's definitely not going to be out of the first 3. He's a great each way bet.
When you look at, as we just talked about, Battash, Japan, and Stradivarius looks the more safe, even money option.
That's the one that lose then. And that's the way it goes.
On paper, it looks the more safe one.
He's going for his 3rd one, is he, Tom?
Yeah.
It's very hard to do, like.
But he's the style of racing that. He's just so lazy. He doesn't take that much out of himself. He'll just do enough to hit the front and just chill.
Look, he's great for racing. He is the most likely winner, but it's very hard to do. He had a tough season last year.
He had a tough enough race last time as well.
Yeah, tough race last time. Like, to me, I wouldn't be backing him at 4-6. It's not my type of bet.
No.
If I can get 8-7-1 Technician each way, that's what I'm going to do.
This is Quantum.
You don't need to. I enjoy this race every year anyway. I don't need to go back Stradivarius at 8-11. To
be honest, I grew up watching Yates win this, and I never backed in the race when he was running. I just watched it.
Yeah.
Or you could just get involved in our WhatsApp group.
Exactly, but that's exactly what it's kind of for, like, you know. And it makes it more enjoyable. But just news in weather woman over in England said, it's lashing rain in Ascot yesterday anyway. So
it's going to get into the ground, hopefully.
It'll need to improve. It'll need to keep lashing, I'd say, but
I think there's more rain. There's a lot of rain coming the weekend apparently, but it's probably wrong knowing weather people. Wrap it up with Stradivarius likely winner.
Technician each way.
Stradivarius, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gutted that Dermot Wells horse.
It doesn't look like I'm having a bet until Friday.
No, I'm checking him. Got search for as long as that run. I was so keen on her each way. Anyway, On to our final one we're going to cover, and the Commonwealth Cup over 6 furlongs.
We're not doing James Palace and all
That's
that.
great too.
Come on now. There's a heap of races left.
St James Palace.
Where?
The
Oh,
fucking the
Diamond Jubilee.
Phillies version of the St James's Palace is.
See, I told you. I
It's-
was still.
it's
I was
not
little.
there. Maybe it's not.
I've only got the
Hey,
Commonwealth
you're
Cup
wanting
and the
in
Diamond Jubilee now.
We've the Diamond Jubilee,
Go
the
Diamond.
St James's Palace. What,
nothing
the
down.
Coronation Stakes, is that not being ran this year?
I don't know. I don't think so.
It's not in the betting, so it must not be. And surely we're doing the Coventry, are we? That's the best of the 2-year-old race.
Well, I wanted to talk about the Norfolk, but yeah, so
Right, go.
Oh well, I've one for the Coventry. You can talk about the Norfolk then.
grand.
But
That's
what are we going? Commonwealth Cup now.
yeah.
Okay. Let me take it.
Yeah, go on, call out.
Pierre Lapin is 5-1. Kimari 10-1. Golden Horde 10-1. Artlight 11-1. Wooded 12-1. Hurricane Ivor 16s, and then 16s to 1 bar. This is actually a really good race. I really like this race since they brought it in a few years ago. It's producing some good horses. Pierre Lapin is Harry Angel's brother. Looked very good last year. Won the same race that Harry Angel won as a 2-year-old Millreef. But I like two outsiders in this.
Go on.
One that Andrew put up a week or two ago.
Don't take him on me.
Malatru got an absolute Horlicks of a ride that day and should have won.
Hanging bastard. He's a hanging bastard.
I
that
think-
horse.
Do you know what? I was looking at it today, and I went back through his form, and there's little comments sometimes at racing post. Jared Mossey comment hung left the whole time.
I told you. I told you. He's a horrible hanging fecking thing. That
I
horse.
think you might see the best of them at 7 furlongs.
This is going to be ran like the clap.
I think the race I think is made for him is the 7 furlong grade 2 at Glorious Goodwood, because there's not many 7 furlong races in England that are graded races. I give him a chance each way. I think he'll be staying on at the end. He travels really well, and I cannot for the life of me get my heads around Mums Tipple, but I have to back him because he's 100% has an absolute. He's a performance in him after last year. The race he won at Ascot, not the second race at York. The race he won at Ascot, he won by a couple of lengths. But the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th all came out one after it. He had a Godolphin horse that won at Yarmouth about an hour ago, just pushed out by William Buick. He was favourite that day that Mums Tipple won, and he won just there about an hour ago. I don't know what they were doing with the Guineas. He's 100% a sprinter.
Definitely didn't stay together.
He was drawn out wide in the Guineas. As soon as the gates open and he was behind, his race is over. He needs to lead. If they break him from the traps, he's out in front. He's just going to go absolutely so fast, and the rest will have to try and catch up.
I know. Yeah, Tom, go on.
Yeah, look, this all I keep hearing on the last few weeks is this that Pierre Lapin. Look, he won the Millreef well, but I'm worried about that form. I'm not quite sure how top class that form is. The second came out and was absolutely annihilated, 15 lengths by Pinatubo in the Dewhurst.
Two below.
Pinatubo, yeah.
It's not the best form, Tom. You're right. And that, like, I'm looking outside because I think he's too short at 5-1. It's probably going to be 3-1 on the day.
Yeah,
for what he's achieved, it's a bit short.
I think his prices weighed into the fact that he's Harry Angel's brother.
Yeah, Roger Berrien is in very good form. I'll give him that much. I can't see Earthlight coming here. I think he'll stay in France. Kimari obviously went very close last year for Wesley Ward and comes here again. I just think his 3-year-olds are going to struggle. They're so far ahead, those American 2-year-olds. I've no idea why they're so far ahead, but they are so far ahead.
He says that.
Take that as you like.
And I don't know why he trains in America and he just doesn't live in England, because he can't train a winner in America, so it's all I want to him, really, isn't it?
No, he's in awful form as well. His horses are running dirt.
Actually, they all go off 2 to 5, and like some of them are.
I thought you were going to say they all go off too fast. I was going to agree with you.
And too fast. Look, Mum's Tipple's got to come back from a very disappointing run. Then you're getting down into other horses, and then there's someone that aren't going to run. Like Arizona's in the betting for this. I can't see Earthlight running. No. Hurricane Iva was impressive in France, but in a conditions race, that form needs to step up. And then you've got the likes of Missel, Jesse Torres, that's not going to run. Pinatubo, I don't know, he's not going to run here. Raffle Price, Siskin. The one for me then, when you take out a lot of these runners, is Clive Cox's horse, Golden Horde. He was very good last year. He was 5th of 17, only beaten 2 lengths in what race did he run in? The Coventry. I thought that was a very good run. Adam Kirby dropped his reins a little bit, but he was only beaten 2 lengths. He went on then, he won at Goodwood, he beat Fred. He's never gone off a short price other than in a novice race at Windsor. But he beat Fred then, and then he went to Deauville. He was beaten 2 lengths by Earthlight over there, but that was on heavy ground. And then he came back and he was only beaten a neck by Earthlight in the middle park Middle Park Stakes, which is a Group 1. He's got a rating of 114. I think that 6 furlongs, he's definitely a sprinter. That Earthlight form is very good, and the form of the Coventry is very good. Clive Cox has been in okay form. A lot of his runners he's had a good few places. He's only had 1 winner, but a good few of them have been placed. And I think once you take out a lot of this field, if you want a horse to be placed, he's the one for me, big time. He's very tough, very consistent. 10 to 1 is a huge price in this, and I can see him being about 5 to 1 when everything's declared, if everything comes out that I think is going to come out. So he is the one that I'm going to be having a bet on tonight.
And he's having a bet.
There you go.
Yeah. I told you, I've got another couple as well for like later in the week. I just didn't. Some of those Group 1s, like those horses can go win at short prices. I'll enjoy the races, but I think this is a market to get involved in, especially at 10 to 1. It's too big.
I think don't get bogged down with Pierre Lapin. Fair enough, if he comes out and wins and he's a superstar, all well and good, that's grand. But it's early on in the season. Still, it's early on enough. A sprinter that wins this might not end up being the best sprinter by the end of the year. It's kind of like the Guineas. They might win the Guineas but not end up being the best miler. It just might be a little bit ahead. You look back at the results in this. It's only been run 5 times. Muhara won it. I think he was tailed off in the Guineas, or one of the trials for the Guineas, and he was a mad price for it. Quite Reflection won it. She was a mad price as well. She ended up winning later in the season, and people were backing her then. Caravaggio, fair enough. Aidan O'Brien advertised won it last year. He wasn't favoured for it last year. He had a bad run and he was kind of written off. And I think Sir Michael Stout won it with another horse that was totally rode off. Eqtidar was a crazy price as well. So just don't be getting bogged down with the favourite. There's definitely value in this race every year.
Especially that it's this, I say at the start of the season. Experience, as you've seen the last 2 weeks, experience counts for a lot at the start of the season.
And a lot of these now, it's their first run as well. So,
for what it's worth, I'm going to have a each way shot on Malatru to, I don't know, I'm still hurt from Luke Morris.
Get his life together, is it?
Yeah, get his life together. Stay on. I just hope they run on the stands rail. He'd be grand then. Stay on the stands rail. Grand.
Oh.
Yeah. Just as well, there's no one in the bloody stands. Right, I'm Malatru each way.
Malatru will run well. Mum's Tipple each way.
Jesus, yeah, Golden Horde each way, and he said Golden Horn then. Golden Horde each way, a strong bet, 10 to 1.
He's a right good chance as well, Tom. That's a good show.
Yeah, I like him.
Right, on to the St. James's Palace. We have Witchita 7-4, Pinatubo 7-4, Palace Pier 6s, Kamiko 8 and 14 to 1. Bigger the rest. Are we going to see Witchita and Pinatubo? Same race again, second and third of the Guineas.
Is Wichita going to run here?
I know he's 7 to 4.
He's 7 to 4 favourite.
Yeah, I know the plan was to keep some of them in the UK because they had to quarantine and stuff. So
I think he will run here, Tom. Yeah, they keep him in the UK. It'll be the way they changed. This should usually be run on Tuesday, but it's been run on Saturday now, I think. So they gave him an extra 5 days, so he'll get a full 2 weeks break, which usually is kind of what they get between the Irish and English Guineas if they were going to run them both. So I would reckon he'd run here.
Jesus, this is uninspiring. Once you get past the first few of the ones who are going to run here, like Kamiko, Arizona, you wouldn't imagine they're going to run.
If Palace Pier runs in this, he's my bet of the whole week.
Really?
Yep.
I think he's done. Yes, I agree. No, I don't think he is running. I'd be fairly strong on him as well.
He might not run, and he might end up going further up and tripping the Derby. But
he's a very, very good horse.
Wherever he runs next, he's going to be a strong bet for me.
He's a stair with a kick.
Yeah, again, it's the same thing for a race like this. If the three of them turned up, I'd happily sit down and put the feet up and watch that.
Yeah.
Wichita was a good bit better than Pinatubo at the end of that race. Palace Pier was very impressive up in Newcastle. The way how he ended up winning by a couple of lengths, I'm still not too sure. I actually didn't think it was the greatest. I think he took a few strides to pick up, but I didn't think it was actually the greatest ride in the world. I think he let the leader go a few lengths.
He went from looking like he was beat and 2 lengths down to 2.5 lengths in front in the space of about 3 seconds.
Yeah, it was very, very impressive, and that's not bad horse he beat either. I actually fancied him a little bit against him, but
there was a lot of money for him that day.
Yeah, I'd say he could be very good, and he's very interesting against them too.
Ooh, this is very uninspiring, this race. I'd be with Dave. Palace Pier, if he turns up, I'd be all over him. If not, I'd say Wichita will hold up the form with Pinatubo.
Yeah, I'm the same. Palace Pier, if he turns up, if it ends up being a choice between Pinatubo and Wichita, I'd be choosing Wichita.
Where are we going
Yeah, exactly the same, lads. I'd take him, Palace Pier, at a bigger price as well.
Right, so that. Oh yeah, don't even want to do it. Diamond Jubilee is next. I am just trying to get the betting.
I have it here.
Go on. Well, I can't get on this.
So we have Hello Yumzane 7 to 1, Space Blues 8 to 1, One Master Hasn't Hope 7 furlongs, Prix de la Forêt at the end of the year. You heard it here first. 12 to 1
for the last 3 years.
Cape Byron 14 to 1, Cadem 14 to 1, Dream of Dreams 16s, and then 16 to 1, 20 to 1 bar.
Go on, take away, Dave.
Like I said, for the Queen Anne, if Mo Hatter turns up in this, I'll be on him. He's 33, he's shorter for the Queen Anne, so probably going for the Queen Anne. And the reason behind that might be because they have a horse for this in Cadem. He was bitterly disappointed on his last run last year, but his run before that in the big handicap at Glorious Goodwood, I'm really sure it was Glorious Goodwood. I actually told you to back him.
Oh.
And the Cadem, the same owner as his Mo Hatter.
Yeah.
The speed times for that race were very good. I don't know whether it was the ground or whatever in his final race, but I'd give him a shout each way. I actually have Cape Byron backed anti-post. He absolutely loves Ascot. The race is tailor-made for him after winning the Wokingham last year, but I don't think he's running, so that puts paid to that.
I'm going to have a very uninspiring pick each way for a horse that's been around years. He's won at Royal Ascot. He likes Ascot. The Tin Man in 20s. I hope that the
ground gets soft.
What?
If the ground gets soft, he's a chance.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. But the rain keeps coming, he'd have a right chance. He's a class horse. He didn't really show it last season. I'd be willing to just hope that was a bad season for him and he's going to come back. For a Grade 1 winner, that has shown proven form against top class horses. I think 20-1 in a very open race is decent each way back. That's all I have to say about that.
This is my second decent bet of the week, and it comes in the form of Space Blues, who is as short as 4-1 with Paddy Power and as big as 8-1 with Coral.
Wow.
You can get a 7-1 in a good few places. I would be very happy to take that each way about this horse. If you look at his form,
did he just win the other day?
Yeah. He won the other day a listed race at Haydock on his comeback, which should put him on spot on nicely for this, I'd imagine. He's a horse who the only other time he's really been beaten well, it was on his debut last year. So I'd say they were quite happy to get a run into him. He's been beaten twice on his debut, so I think they were probably quite happy to run him. If you look at his form, it's actually quite remarkable. He's only been out of the first three twice in 10 runs. The first time was on his second run of his life on soft ground over a 1 mile 2 at Newbury, which we now know is way too far from him. So we can forgive him that. And he was 7 for 16 over in Dubai when 4-6 favourite. He bombed out. I don't know why. And he came back then and beat Safe Voyage by a neck at Haydock. Second in the Jersey Stakes last year. Arguably could have won that. Didn't get the best of runs. That's Ascot form coming back into the race. I was amazed at how solid his form is. He was second at Deauville to 2 Down Hot. He was third again at 15 at Deauville behind Advertise. Second, as we say, in the Jersey Stakes, and before that he'd won a listed race at Epsom when he did everything wrong running all over that course. I remember. I think he's a very good horse. 7-1. I think he'd be a lot shorter and a solid each way bet.
It is, especially at the prices where you consider what is he 4s with Paddy's?
4-1 with Paddy Power, 8-1 with Coral. Dubai horse. Charlie Appleby's in savage form. He is the two of them are my two strong bets for the week.
It's a strange enough race in that it's kind of crying. The older sprinters are crying out for a bit of a superstar, really, aren't they? They're all much of a muchness, and I reckon whoever wins the Diamond Jubilee, the winner of the Commonwealth Cup will end up being the better sprinter. The 3-year-olds seem to be better sprinters, and I think the Commonwealth Cup is playing a lot into that. They're being trained as sprinters and not just Guineas horses.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so anyone else chatting about it? No?
No, Space Blues, strong bet.
The 10-man 20-1 each way.
And Cadem each way, but if there's heavy or soft in the ground, he will be last.
Right. Any other picks for the week that you fancy?
I have one for the Coventry.
Go for it.
Just get it up there now.
Any time to share, Dave?
I was getting the betting up there. So he's 12-1 with William Hill. It's Aidan O'Brien horse who absolutely farms the race every year. He's significantly shorter with other bookies, so I imagine he will go here. He won yesterday, unfancied enough. Chief Little Hawk. He is kind of an American bred horse. He's by Air Force Blue, but all his relations are like dirt horses and all that. But Aidan is after winning the Coventry a few times with American bred horses. I'd say he probably needs the ground to be firm. That's the only thing. But his sire won it. Aidan won it last year as well. He's won it numerous times with kind of American bred horses. Henry the Navigator won it. There's been one or two others. Caravaggio won it as well. It's the trainer, and he's obviously going to have one or two in the race. He looks like he's going to be in it, so I'd be going for him. The favourite is that Lipizzaner that lost the other day. I wouldn't be interested in him at all.
I've won for the opening race the whole week, the Buckingham Palace. I picked one of the hardest races of the week. But anyway, it's one of Kevin Ryan's horses, Hey Jonesy. He ran into Wokingham last year. He was beat 3.5 lengths in that off 106. He's now down to 99. He likes Ascot. He's great experience in these big races. He's 33 to 1 in the place, and you're going to get 6-7 places in this race. I think he's a great shot at this on a reduced mark now. It's his lowest mark of his career. Are you? What?
I was just showing you he ran well in the Commonwealth Cup 2 years ago as well. He came 5th.
There you go.
He has Ascot form. That horse is actually, for years I've been waiting for him to win a big race.
This could be it. I'm very sweet on with a big price. 33 to 1 I think is way too big for him.
Fingers crossed. I've actually got involved on one. This is my only anti-post bet before tonight, where I log off of this and go and have my bets on the other horses if I can get on. But the 2-year-old races this year are going to be really interesting, because we obviously haven't had many 2-year-old races. So I think any of the 2-year-olds that have run, like, experience stands so well, and I just think if you've run, you're going to be miles ahead. The horse that took my eye was Eye of Heaven. It's very original. He's 5 to 1 for the Norfolk, but he was tipped up everywhere. Like, 3 people told me to back him, that he's an absolute aeroplane. He got backed into odds on. He drifted out a bit and then came back in again. He broke the juvenile course record. He was just pushed out by Frankie. I think he is going to be streets ahead to go and win this. The horse that was third that day, Tactical, a horse of Andrew Bowding's, they think that's an aeroplane as well.
Both of those horses have a good chance in the 2-year-old races, whatever they go for. I'd say you're right about Eye of Heaven. I'll go for a 5 furlong race. I could see Tactical going up in trip, 6 or 7.
Apparently, as you say, apparently Eye of Heaven is the best horse Mark Johnson has this year.
Yeah, Tactical is very interesting now, especially if he goes up in trip. But like, as we said, he broke the juvenile course record. I know we're running in June and it's quicker ground, but he was literally just pushed out. Like, he wasn't hard on him. And I just think a horse with that much raw natural speed.
Yeah, he definitely wants to stay at 5 furlongs anyway at the moment.
Yeah, but I see him seeing out the 5 furlongs. He saw it out well the other day. But 5 furlongs, I think he'll jump. He'll have learned from the other day, even though he looks very professional. And, you know, 5 to 1, I got him a bit bigger than that. But 5 to 1 is still fair, I think.
Yeah, for the ability he's showing and what he can do, and the fact that he was being touted up as Mark Johnson's best horse, 5 to 1 is very, very tempting.
You take into account the way he'll be ridden as well. Like, he'll ping the gates and be out sitting on the rail and go from the front, so you know you have a chance either way. So if you take that into account, his price is very good as well.
Yeah, you're going to be tough to get past. You're going to have to be hard to get past him, I'd say. Yeah, he's going to jump and he's going to travel, and he's got a good set of feet on him to go a good gallop. Like, he went a good gallop last day and he kept going and just nudged out. And yeah, I'm really confident. If you want to be smart about it, I'd back him now and I'd lay him in running. You know, if you wanted to get your money back.
Getting past the Johnson horse, like trying to get rid of the mother-in-law, isn't it?
Yeah, he'd be one of my big fancies for the week as well. Oh, I stopped that. Right, naps of Royal Ascot. Dave.
My nap of Royal Ascot is Mum's Tipple each way.
Mine is Japan.
Jesus Christ, lads.
No, come back to
me. In Japan. Mine is Golden Horde each way in the Commonwealth Cup, way overpriced at 10 to 1. Can't have it out of free at all.
Jesus Christ, lads, he says to us. I'm surprised he didn't tip something for. I'm surprised he didn't tip something for Dundalk in fucking November.
Next best.
Go on.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, me. Space Blues each way in the Diamond Jubilee.
Oh, you haven't.
Technician.
Oh, very good.
No, I'm going to change. All you have is my nap. My nap.
Very good.
So, the other ones are next best. Japan. Kind of 2 naps.
No, yeah, I changed it. I said Japan's my next best. Okay,
listen, just clarifying.
Is that Japan? Are you on each way at evens on Japan?
No, I'm not you.
Hold up for a second. Say that name.
Pierre Lapin.
Oh, he did it right.
Oh, lovely.
He said Pierre Lippin earlier.
I really
Pierre
did.
Lippin.
I was going to leave it in for Kubo, but
Here, you were taking the piss out me there with one for Dundalk. I've won for, I think it's Fairy House on Monday.
Go on.
I mentioned this horse on the podcast before, and he's up to it's a mile 4 race. There's about 500 horses entered in it, so he's going to have to get in the ballot. We'll just see if that's out, actually. I'm not sure if it is, but...
definitely a non-runner.
And then he'll be a non-runner. Jesus, it's my luck. But, hang on. Yeah, Fairy House.
He's giving out these horses. He goes down through the ballot, and he goes to 50 plus down, just to cover his arse.
Oh, the ballot is out. Oh, my God. First horse I see, 58 in the ballot. That's how bad this race is.
There you go.
4:05 at Fairy House on Monday. Does he get in? He's 33 in the ballot. He's got no chance.
Speaking of,
unless they divide the race.
Speaking of horses, that remember we done the video where we're giving horses for the season, 3 flat horses.
Yeah.
One of those we had a guest on. Who was it?
Jay.
He was laughing at me for putting up love and stuff, and he put up because half the people in the group backed it last week. That Luigi Vampa, remember he said him, an absolute shite hawk, useless.
Shite hawk.
He was terrible.
Dave is very easy on horses. He gives them lots of chances. Just on that horse, name...
Would you back him again?
No.
Well, there you go.
Sure he's not one for the tracker?
No. Dave...
He's 100% not one for the tracker.
The horse, anyway, at Fairy House, because I know people are going to ask, is a horse called Make Good of John McConnell's. If that happens to get in, if they divide a race and it's up to 1.5 miles, he will go very, very, very close. Well handicapped, needs 1.5 miles. Be interested in him if he runs.
When you said John McConnell, I'm interested. Good trainer.
Yeah. He's a shrewd man.
Very shrewd
man.
Very good trainer, knows the time of day, and this horse, I've been waiting for this horse. The day's up to mile 4, and the day's up to mile 4, I back him. So.
Like you're still waiting for the horse in America?
Stop. That horse in America. Will we tell everyone, in case you haven't followed it, Violent Fight in America is in my tracker, right? He's been declared to run twice. And I've got so excited that he's declared to run, he's going to run. He's in bad claimers, he'll win, lads. We backed him at 8 the first day. And it's lashed rain in America at Gulfstream Park. And they've switched the racing to the dirt track. And he's a turf horse. So he's been a non-runner. It's just...
Buy him, Tom. Bring him over here.
It's depressing, I tell you.
You're a patient man, Tom. You'll get your money. Or you lose it. But you'll get to back him eventually. Like, he will run. He's not going to stud anyway, put it that way.
I'm just seeing if he's entered. I have a horrible feeling he's going to run someday and I'm not going to notice.
So, man, it's the Friday of Royal Ascot and you've lost all your money and you're not backing anymore and he pops up on your track.
No, it's going to be the Friday of his wedding just before his vows.
12-1 and he wins.
I'm really concentrating, as I was saying in the group, on Irish racing now this year. I just need to focus on something. I'm looking at too many races, so Irish racing is what I'm looking at. But I'm going to have those 2 bets in Royal Ascot next week, and that would be me. That Violent Fight isn't entered, so we're good for another few days.
Right. On that note, that is our Royal Ascot preview. Again, if you just want to have small stakes, then you can. The link will be in the description for our Royal Ascot tipping competition, and all the details then will be on the WhatsApp group of what to do. Tom will look after the entries.
It's a good idea. As we said. It's one of the better ideas. I think George in the group kind of came up with it. He had done it for his own group of friends for Cheltenham. Like I said, if you don't want to be backing too much at Ascot, which is fair enough because it's hard to know this year with the racing only starting a couple of weeks ago, it's a way to be involved in.
Yeah, exactly.
And the banter is a bit of buzz as well.
And hence the reason it took us half an hour to start this.
I thought the temperature. I was laughing so much.
We were saying it as well, lads, with that tipping competition. We did one in the office under, didn't we, for Cheltenham?
Yeah.
And it was really good fun. And like there were lads picking horses by their names and colours, and I think the lead changed about 4 or 5 times, and there was only about 10 or 15 of us in it. So it's really good fun. Gives you an interest in every race. So yeah,
I'm a big fan of Royal Ascot. It's not the same as Cheltenham, obviously. A lot of people don't put as much thought into it, but I actually really do like Royal Ascot. I wouldn't be the biggest fan of flat racing, but I think this is actually a right good week of race.
And I just had a thought there. We might, in some of the big handicaps, give double points. That if some people are behind.
Yeah, that's not a bad shout. Yeah. Have you ever been, lad? Have you ever been to Royal Ascot?
No, I'd never go. No, never go.
Oh, lads, you want to go? One of the best days out you'll ever have. You get there at 10 o'clock. You have your picnic in the car park. You're pissed by 11:30. The first race isn't until 2 or something like that.
That sounds like Punchestown.
Absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah, but we'd be in a hotel doing that. It's more fun.
You get dressed up and everything. The weather's nice.
We do that at Punchestown.
It's such a good. It's a good day out.
I tell you, if you go to Punchestown with us next year and you're wearing a polo shirt, you're not coming.
3-piece suit, Tom. That's all you have to say.
Oh, lovely.
Right. On that note, we start.
Do you remember all the free bets I got?
Oh, a little lady behind the bookmaker in Ladbrokes took well to Dave, and we got free bets upon free bets.
€55 free bets.
Here.
Yeah.
He traded his scarf.
I traded my scarf, but I got it back. I wouldn't let her keep it. She just had it for the day.
I tell you, I have a funny free bet story, right? There was a bookies opened in Tramore a few years ago. I can't remember the name of it now. But it was a Dublin-based, like, small enough bookies, and it opened up anyway. And they were doing €20 free bets for every customer. And everyone was kind of around the town in the pubs or whatever, and you'd go in and everyone said, "Oh, I've come in for my free bet, I'm a customer." And they had the big guy down from Dublin, and he was meeting and greeting everyone, sandwiches, tea, all this. And we said, "How'd you get a free bet?" He's like, "Just go up to the counter, just write free bet on the docket, should take your bet." Well, that sounds a bit too good to be true, doesn't it?
Yes.
There were lads must have had 15 free bets, right? But still, it's bad that I did this. Me and the father and the grandfather, granddad would never have really bet. Dad would have a little bet. But I rang him up and said, "You've got to come down and do this." So we'd gone in and done this. So there was a hunter's chase on at Fakenham or somewhere terrible. There was a horse got back to hundreds into 30 frees. But I said to the grandfather, I said, "Go on," I said, "stick a free bet on him for the crack." The feckin' thing won 660 quid in cash, and we ran out the door.
That poor chap.
Don't ever feel bad about that, Tom. That's class.
The bookies closed down about 6 months later.
And that's a prize. And he's giving out €20 free bets. My God.
Oh.
Yeah, I couldn't make it up. It's hilarious.
That's a good story. We finish on that on a high.
Note.
On that note, again, lads, everything you want to know about Tom's Syndicate, the tipping competition, will be in the description. And give us a like and subscribe, and we will see you again next week.